Israeli occupation continues to target civilian Palestinians in Gaza. Houthis' threat to the Red Sea persists despite formation of a U.S.-led deterrence force. United Nations and Houthis to reach deal to resume food relief delivery to the group's controlled areas. Good evening. Welcome to Yemen Today News. I am Abir Ali. A number of citizens were killed, others were injured in a continuing Israeli bombing of Gaza Strip. Reports said dozens of citizens were killed and others were injured as a result of a bombing that targeted the vicinity of the Jordanian Field Hospital in the city of Khan Younis, south of Gaza Strip. A number of citizens were also killed and dozens were injured as a result of a bombing that targeted displaced people at Al Mustaqbal school east of Gaza City. The occupation forces surrounded Jabalia Ambulance Center, which houses 127 people, including paramedics and displaced people. In the occupied West Bank, dozens of Israeli settlers stormed the courtyard of the Aqsa Mosque under the protection of the Israeli occupation police. Eyewitnesses reported that the settlers carried out provocative tours inside Aqsa Mosque and performed Jewish rituals. The occupation police also tightened their military measures at the gates of the Old City and Al-Aqsa Mosque. The United States, the European Union, NATO, and several countries, including Yemen, issued a joint statement condemning Houthi interference in navigational rights and freedoms in light of the attacks in the Red Sea. This report has more.
The US and a host of other nations are creating a new force to protect ships transiting the Red Sea that have come under attack by drones and ballistic missiles fired from Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen. The seriousness of the attacks, several of which have damaged the vessels, has led multiple shipping companies to order their ships to hold in place and not to enter the Bab el-Mandeb Strait until the security situation can be addressed. The US-led ally said the threat in the Red Sea is an international challenge that demands collective action. The U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement that the establishment of Operation Prosperity Guardian is an important new multinational security initiative. The United Kingdom, Bahrain, Canada, France, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Seychelles, and Spain will join the U.S. in the new mission, Austin announced. Some of the countries will conduct joint patrols while others provide intelligence support in the southern Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. Several other countries have also agreed to be involved in the operation, but preferred not to be publicly named, a defense official said. The mission will be coordinated by the already existing Combined Task Force 153, which was set up in April last year to improve maritime security in the Red Sea, Bab el-Mandeb, and the Gulf of Aden. There have been 39 member nations in the task force, but officials were working to determine which of them would participate in this latest effort. Separately, the United States has also called on the United Nations Security Council to take action against the Houthi threat. The numerous attacks originating from the Houthi-controlled territories in Yemen threaten international commerce and maritime security. The member states of the U.S. ally said Houthi-led seizure of the Galaxy leader on November 19 is appalling. They added that such behavior also threatened the movement of food, fuel, humanitarian assistance, and other essential commodities to destinations and populations all over the world. They encouraged all states to refrain from facilitation or encouragement of the Houthis. As a matter of fact, the way the Houthis operate raises challenges for Western naval forces, as they are fending off cheap drones with ultra-expensive equipment. The Houthis' campaign is in fact already bringing havoc on global shipping. With the major lines diverting to other routes, there will be significant delays and increased cost, and there will be knock-off effects on international trade.
French Foreign Minister said that France will take measures with its partner to put an end to Houthi attacks in the Red Sea. It added that the actions will be taken in coordination with allies to strengthen their ability to carry out operations in the Red Sea region to put an end to attacks.
Today is World Food Day. We celebrate the day with the theme Water is life, water is food. This is a clear indication that livelihoods depends on water. Yemen is ranked in the 10 bottom countries of the world with per capita water share less than 100 cubic meters. Water resources in Yemen is threatened by climate change. Rain is erratic. It is mainly in the mountainous areas and the coastal areas. Farmers struggle to get water for irrigation. We have been working with a number of development partners to ensure that we bring new technologies for water saving, especially in distributing a number of conveyance systems like drip irrigation, controlled agriculture in greenhouses. We saw today in Sana'a Basin a number of farmers using these technologies, and they are appreciating it in terms of producing vegetables and also moving away from water-intensive crops to less water-intensive crops like almond. Irrigation is practiced mainly in the lowlands to ensure that farmers get the required level of soil moisture.
The Iranian-backed Houthi militia sent human reinforcements toward Al-Dalab front. Local sources said the Houthi militia sent human reinforcements on board civilian cars and buses towards Al-Dalab front. They added that the reinforcements were launched from the city of Ab after they were brought it from several governorates, especially the governorates of Sana'a, Amran, Hajj, and Damar. A girl was injured by a Houthi sniper in Adalas, southern Yemen, in light of militias' increasing violations and crimes against innocent civilians. Yemen Today channel's correspondent said the 14-year-old girl, Wafa Khalid, was shot by a Houthi sniper while she was herding sheep. Yemeni government sources and others working in the relief sector in Yemen reported that there are signs of an agreement between the World Food Programme and the Houthi group regarding the resumption of food aid distribution. This came about 2 weeks after food aid distribution was suspended due to the group's interference in the list of beneficiaries. This report has more.
Yemeni government sources and others working in the relief sector in Yemen reported that there are signs of an agreement between the World Food Programme and the Houthi group regarding the resumption of food aid distribution, about 2 weeks after it was suspended due to the group's interference in distribution and lists of beneficiaries. The sources confirmed that, as a result of the pressure exerted by the major relief organizations operating in Yemen and the risks threatening 9 million people who benefit from the aid provided by the food program, the decision required the reduction of more than 3 million beneficiaries in the group's areas of control out of 9 million people due to lack of funding and directing aid towards the most needy people, a decision that the Houthis had rejected, which prompted the program to completely suspend the distribution of aid. The sources indicated that the World Food Programme will soon announce the resumption of its work in the Houthi-controlled areas in accordance with these understandings, but it will need several months to distribute the scheduled food rations to the beneficiaries there due to its running out of stock and the need to transport these materials to the governorates, store them, and then distribute them. While program workers confirmed that dozens of local workers were informed of the expiration of their work contracts at the end of this month due to lack of funding and a reduction in the number of beneficiaries of food aid. In accordance with these understandings, the World Food Programme will pass its decision to reduce the number of beneficiaries and will implement a comprehensive survey of those eligible for aid in the Houthi-controlled areas to identify the groups most in need. Based on its strategy for dealing with the food crisis in Yemen linked to the decline in funding For the Humanitarian Response Plan, the program began implementing in government-controlled areas in the new distribution cycle, and through it, about 1 million beneficiaries were excluded from the scheduled food rations. In conjunction with this, the United Nations Office for Humanitarian Affairs confirmed that Yemen witnessed a seasonal improvement in the food security situation.
Coming up in the news. The interim capital Aden hosts a training program to enable young Yemeni leaders. Welcome back. The suffering of displaced families in Adala has doubled. These displaced people lived through their most difficult days during the past year amid an acute shortage of food, medicine, appropriate shelter places, and necessary services. The following report has more details.
The year 2023 is the worst for those displaced families in Adala Governorate, burdened with wars and poverty, enduring the hardships of life, while the humanitarian organizations are in complete silence and absence. Those displaced from their homes are in extreme need to cover their essential needs and be saved from their miserable situation, where they struggle with diseases and are struck by hunger and the bitter cold of winter.
This year, we witnessed a lot of challenges and we lived very hard times. The humanitarian organizations and the government are not paying any attention. We are in severe poverty, with no food, no water, nothing.
The majority of displaced families in Adala suffer as a result of being deprived of the simplest means of decent living. Nearly 9,000 displaced families are now living in difficult economic and humanitarian conditions in light of the deterioration of the economy and the great increase in prices of components that are essential for life.
We call on the concerned authorities that care about human rights and the displaced people to support us and help us during this hard time. We are all struggling here in this camp and the neighboring ones. We demand our basic rights as Yemeni citizens. We are living here without our basic necessities, and we've no gas, no furniture, and no water.
The suffering of displaced families in Adala doubled, and these displaced people lived through their most difficult days during the past year as a result of the cessation of sources of income, the interruption of activity of international humanitarian organizations, and the absence of a governmental role amid a severe shortage of food, medicine, suitable shelter places, and services.
A recent UN report revealed that 77% of internally displaced people in Yemen during the current year were displaced as a result of climate change. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said in its latest report on the humanitarian situation that floods resulting from climate change were main reason for the displacement of 77% of the total of more than 300,000 people. The Youth Leadership Development Foundation in the city of Sayoun in the Hadramaut Governorate hosted an exhibition to wrap up the 9th Young Leaders program. This report has more.
The Youth Leadership Development Foundation in the city. Among those young people is Ahmed, who participated with his project for cultivating fish using modern methods. This will contribute to providing large quantities of fish at reasonable prices.
My project is to help the problem of high prices. There is a demand for fish, but the prices are quite high. Most of the people can't buy it, so we provide it for them with low prices compared to other places.
The graduation project presented by Ahmed was not the only one that contributed to the effectiveness of this creative exhibition. It included approximately 26 innovative and creative projects covering many fields in the agricultural, fisheries, technology, and environmental aspects.
Today we are here in the conclusion of this exhibition. 26 people got trained in several fields of life skills and administrative. This is to help them create and make projects.
Empowering youth for a sustainable green economy towards a sustainable world is the slogan of this final exhibition, which aims to encourage youth to innovation, creativity, and highlighting their projects and innovations.
The initiative and projects are unique, helpful and modern.
With confident steps and pioneering achievements, those responsible for this program sought to prove. Through this creative exhibition, Yemeni youth are able to contribute to providing innovations and creativity with modern ideas and advanced technology. They're all dedicated to finding alternatives and solutions for the society's problems in hope that such projects will help.
Yemeni national junior team and its Saudi counterpart are competing in the final match of the 10th West Asian Federation Championship. The Yemeni team reserved its place in the final after the victory it achieved over its Emirati counterpart with 2 clean goals, while the Saudi team reached the final after defeating the Iraqi team. Here is a reminder of the main headlines. The Israeli occupation continues to target civilian Palestinians in Gaza. Houthis' threat to the Red Sea persists despite formation of a U.S.-led deterrence force. United Nations and Houthis to reach deal to resume food delivery to the group's controlled areas. This is the end of the news. Thank you for streaming with us. It was Abir Ali.